It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Well, welcome back to Inside the Patch. Come to you from ESPN 1430, your Valley local sports leader. And, of course, again this week we got Mitch Adams, who is the professor of the perfectrotation.com. The Perfect Rotation is a basketball training device. Look at that thing. That looks awesome. Man, so how long have you started this process, like 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago? How'd this happen?
December of 2016 was when the idea was born.
Uh-huh.
And met with the patent attorney. April of 2017, she did a patent search on training basketballs with patented channels. There was nothing like it. And she says,
right, you
should go for it. So we spent the next maybe 2+ years going through the patent process. And I remember I was on the golf course. I got a text and said, "They're yours." I'm like, "What?
Oh, yeah.
They're mine." And I said, "Wow." Then I said, "What do I do with it?"
You know what's funny is I got a text one time from, his name was Coach DeRuiter of Fresno State. And he said, "He's yours." And I didn't know what he was talking about, but it was, he had just coached Derek Carr, and Derek Carr just got drafted by the Raiders.
Nice.
And I didn't know. I was out golfing, and I got that, "He's yours." And I'm like, who's he? And what's up? And then it's Tim DeRuiter, and I remember, oh. The guy kind of looked like Jack Del Rio. And then, Carr went on to bigger and better things, and that's where it was. But well, let's talk Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, they did lose this last week. A game they could have probably won, maybe. I mean,
should have. Marcus Peters picks that ball off.
Oh,
it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
There was the margin right there. However, it would have changed the complexity of the game. But continue.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No. That's. I agree with you. You and I were texting each other back during the game. I was like, going, does Garoppolo hate Devontae Adams? He's trying to get him killed. You can't throw that ball up high in the middle of the field if you want a receiver to live.
I mean, it sure would be nice if he threw the ball high on the sidelines when he's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
there were a
goodness.
couple times where I'm just like, what's he seeing out there,
I mean, if you don't see it, throw it away, but don't try to tuck it in there. Live to play another downed. Come on.
I mean, it was heartbreaking. And I guess the most heartbreaking part is it's only the third game of the season, and I feel completely defeated. I feel,
It did feel that way. Come Monday, of course, the water cooler talk. Everybody wants to recap the weekend, and I'm like, is it basketball season yet? And, I had to quickly brush that off and say, Mitch, it's only week 3.
Right.
We can get right back into this thing. There's minor details that aren't being attended to, and they're costing us.
Yeah. Well, the only bright light was at least we didn't lose by 50 to Miami. I mean, I feel bad for the Denver fans too. They're calling them the Inver Broncos because they have no D.
Wow, that's tough. The score flash, it was 14-7, Dolphins, Miami, and I went out and I came back home. And I thought I was seeing something wrong. Is that a college score? What am I looking at?
Is this basketball? What is that?
Oh my, 70-20?
Yeah. Wow. Oh shoot. They just scored again right now. Right now. This just in. Miami put another 7 up. Okay. Something disturbing happened today too with the Raiders. There's a guy that I don't even know. He's going viral. He's just a fan of a long time. And he wrote a letter. And he wrote a letter to Mark Davis and to the coach at McDaniels and said he can't do this anymore. He's not going to be a Raider fan anymore. And he's getting a lot of publicity. Rich Gannon replied to it, and Tim Brown. It's a well-written, long paper. He says it's not good for my health. I'm having a hard time. The Raiders have just taken and I don't feel that way, and I don't ever want to feel that way. But this guy, it wasn't like an easy decision for him, it seems like. But he went on and on about how he's I don't know, like a letter for a divorce. He's divorcing the Raiders, basically.
We certainly can sympathize, maybe not to the degree that he's written the letter. However, we do know that when the Raiders win on Sunday, it makes for a good week.
Yeah.
You walk around with your chest out and there's a sense of pride. And I was talking to my son. There hasn't been that for us as fans for about 21 years. Back in 2000, 2001, 2002.
Right. You're right. You're right.
We were rolling. I mean, you knew that they were either going to win or blow a victory. Nobody was going to beat them.
Right.
And oh my God, those were the days. And it was just so nice, whether you're watching on TV or out at the Oakland Coliseum, the energy that you felt and that pride you felt. Oh my, it was nothing better. And I want that again. I yearn for that. And it's tough because there are other people here in the Bay Area that have something similar to that right now. And they're able to boast every week. And I can't say anything. And I want to be able to brag about my team. And it's hard.
Well, and it's fun when you know you got a shot. Like after the Buffalo game, I was like, oh man. But then I rallied. I was ready. We talked about all our strategies and everything. And then came game day. I was ready for it. And then it just something didn't feel right. You know?
We marched down the first drive. Bang, 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 bang. Touchdown. Well, start the playoff with a loss on the run, but then we get it going. 16 yards to Devontae, touchdown. Man, that looked too easy. We're going to score 71 points on these guys, and
it
just wasn't so.
2 out of 3 of our games, we open up with a Devontae quick score, and then it goes somewhere else. It's just like
somewhere else. And I don't like to get down on the team. I'm forever a company man.
Right.
You'll hear me speak positively about everything, but there's something there about McDaniels. Either he's a stubborn man, unwilling to listen to rationale from others that are maybe from the outside looking in and see things a little differently. This guy's got to give a little bit. Why isn't Hunter Renfrow 3 receptions in 3 games? Why the guy had 103 catches? Was it somewhere in that neighborhood 2 years ago? Down to 36 last year due to injuries. Why isn't he part of the offense this year? I mean, if you start targeting him, everything opens up because now you got to double team him in the slot, and if you double team Devontae, then Jacoby Myers is open or Josh starts running well. I don't understand why you aren't utilizing the offense and how many passes went to tight ends in this game.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing with this is like what's going on? And okay, either Josh McDaniels is the best interviewer as far as a job because he had the Colts convinced, he had Denver got the job, and he's got that pedigree where he worked with Tom Brady, so he must know something, right? And then it's like, I've worked with guys like this before that it's okay, this is the way it is. This is trust the system, And then I'm like, and it feels like there's no leeway for adjustment. And
that's exactly what it feels like.
And I feel like, oh no, we're doing this no matter what, even if it's not working. This is what we're doing. This is our plan. And that bothers me sometimes,
I think it bothers all of us that are watching because we've seen glimpses of what this team can be.
Right.
But we also see glimpses of what this team is. And it's more the same.
Before the game last week, there was some sort of poll, and they ranked the Raiders' offensive line as the number 1 offensive line. And I'm like, who's crazy here? I mean, our guy ran for -2 yards. It was after that game, and I'm like, who? And the only thing I can think of, it was based on protecting the quarterback, Okay. But I'm like, they're not playing like that now. It doesn't feel that way.
If Hoyer comes in, if Hoyer's playing and Garoppolo sits, I hope that they dumb the offense down, make it less complicated, and just get back to basics and go out there 3.3 yards in a cloud of dust and do that over and over and over again and first down.
Right.
And just chop the field up. Make it easy.
Well, I did like that it was fourth down when they threw that touchdown to Devontae. So he was changing things up. I go, all right, there you go. That's a nice little fake there. That's perfect. But then, predictable.
I mean, you go for it on fourth down there. Why not go for it on fourth down in the fourth quarter to perhaps get the touchdown?
Because I would have tied the game. And then what? What? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, yeah. it would have to go for the 2-point conversion. However, a penalty is thrown for roughing the snapper or whatever I don't even know what that
climbing a ladder.
Climbing a ladder, yeah. And we accept and we lose. We wind up with a field goal anyway, but we lose like a minute 30. Which we
just
could have used
a lot of wasted time
on the backside of that play when we got the ball back. Maybe we could have driven down and scored. Just so many little things. Linebackers not covering tight ends. I don't know how you have a receiver. The tight end is on the end of the line most times, and you know that's your responsibility. You've got to think pass first, run second. You cannot bite on a fake handoff or play action. You've got to stay with your man. Right. And that's another. That was Divine Diablo. He bit. It's like, dude, you can't. You don't. There's not enough room to catch up to this guy. You're like on the 10-yard line or whatever it was. You don't have time to make that up. You have to stay with your man. And it's just little things. And then we have to draft better. Tyree Wilson, where's this guy? First round draft pick. He should be paying dividends right now.
I think he's hurt, and I think when you're hurt in the NFL, it really shows. Like he's trying to play hurt, and I think that's a problem. That's why he's slow. That's why he's not the guy we drafted. And that's he's a rookie.
What is his feelings hurt? What is it?
Yeah, I think that too. I think his feelings are hurt, and I think physically he's not 100%. Okay, so what about Aiden? They talk about. Maybe he could play this Sunday. I don't think he's going to. I think if Garoppolo doesn't play, I think they're going to go with Hoyer.
Well, Garoppolo did not practice today.
Right.
And that's pretty big when you don't practice on Wednesday. If Hoyer plays, then Aiden is the number 2 quarterback.
Right.
And should Hoyer go down, then you have to bring the youngster in. And if the youngster comes in and shines, stay with him.
I just feel like O'Connell, now it was preseason, granted, but he was moving it down the field. I felt like he's like, no, let's go. And he was getting it done. And I felt like, and it's, like I said, it's preseason. It felt like he had a command of the offense. He knew what was going on.
He really did. He was very decisive. There wasn't much thinking other than, let me go through my progression. 1, 2, 3, let it go. 1, 2, let it go. 1, okay, it's open. Boom. He snap, gone. Snap, gone. Snap, gone. He was letting it fly, and he looked like a veteran. But that's what happens when you get reps in college. A lot of these young guys come in as first-round draft picks after playing 1, maybe 2 years under center, and then they come to the pros, and they don't have enough snaps to really take command of an offense. It's going to take them a few years. And then people like, oh, they're a bust. No, they're not a bust. They just need time.
Right.
And, yesteryear, telling my son the other day, I said, the preseason used to be 6 games back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's when you really played to get into shape, really played to learn the offense. Now it's down to 3, and nobody's really playing.
It's a whole different thinking. It's a whole different thinking. Well, because of injuries and things. I understand it, but
the point I was trying to make is that we're into game 3 now, so that's 3 preseason, 3 regular seasons.
Right. Okay. So now
we should be ready this weekend against the Chargers, and it will be more of a home game for us in Los Angeles because there'll probably be more Raider fans there than what you get at Allegiant Stadium, where it's dominated by the visiting fans.
The Chargers almost lost last week. That would have put them at 0-3. So the fact that they won one now, maybe they're going to be a little too cocky for us. Who knows? But O'Connell, though, another thing about him is that I don't know if you heard his story, but even in high school, he was like the 8th guy on the quarterback, and he worked his way to the start. And then in college, he didn't even recruit. He was like the 7th guy, and all of a sudden, he worked his way in. They don't huddle, so it's kind of a let's go. You got to have a real command of it. And I'm hoping that, man, maybe we found a diamond in the rough here. Who knows?
We need one. We really need one. It's been a long time, as I said earlier, for us to really be excited about a football season. I mean, I think the last one was the year Carr broke his ankle against the Colts at the last home game in Oakland. MVP type season he was having. And I mean, we did go to the playoffs that year, but lost at Houston. But that was the last time that the Raiders had something going. And we need that. As a fan base, we really need it. And hopefully winning will cause more Raider fans to hang on to their tickets and stop selling them to the away fans, because you're listening on TV and
there's too much gold. There was too much gold in there.
A flag's thrown on the Raiders and everyone's cheering, and you're like,
what is going on?
It's confusing.
Well, Vegas is a destination, and I knew this was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It's almost a home game for some teams that travel well. You know what I mean? It's like,
no doubt.
My goodness.
I've been there a couple times, and it's a home. There's no home field advantage for the Raiders. None.
Right.
Other than I slept in my bed last night, and now I'm at the game. You might, like I said, you might get more fans in Los Angeles this weekend cheering for the Raiders than you do at Allegiant, and that's a shame. I mean, of course, great for the Raiders as an organization to elevate the status of the team as far as how they're ranked financially.
Right.
I think they're worth $6 billion now.
Yeah.
So Mark Davis is making money hand over fist. He owns the Aces. They
Right.
won the championship last year. Maybe they win again this year. So he's making money. And I think he's happy with that. But at some point, you need an advantage where you play. And you just don't have it.
And then you hear, okay, so then I heard that him and Gruden were talking, and I'm like, the fan of me, yeah, let's get Gruden. But that would put us back. You know, I mean, and it's probably not even a possibility, but Gruden is set up to negotiate a comeback to get rid of the lawsuit. You know, could you imagine? Could you imagine all of a sudden Gruden's back? I mean, as a fan, I think it's great. I would be like, all right, here we go. Second chances.
There would probably be a lot of women protesting, and it would be a huge distraction. I do like Gruden, and I was happy when he came back. I don't know if he was worth all the money, but whatever. If somebody's going to pay you, I say take it. I think McDaniels. I think many of us would be relieved because McDaniels hasn't really been a world. Somebody to set the world on fire for us.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like, do you know what you're doing? What's going on, man?
He reminds me of that boss you have at work that no one really likes, and he's just like, I know better. Don't worry, I know better. And then I don't believe him. Anything he says, I don't believe him. And you can tell at the conference, he is calculating. Every sentence is like he's not trying to communicate. He's trying not to say the wrong thing. And
God, we need a big victory for this guy so that the media's off his back, the fans are off his back, and he can just go out there and coach, because he needs to string together some victories, 3 or 4 in a row, so that people start to say, okay, maybe it was a process that he needed to get us to buy in on, and here the train is rolling now. Let's get it going. But it starts this week. It has to start this week, because I think we could win the next few games. I mean, Chargers in LA, home game.
Yeah.
Back to Las Vegas for Green Bay. We can beat Green Bay. And then you got the Patriots after that at Allegiant. And then after that, you're on the road to Chicago. So
those are 4 doable games that we should be able to play at a level to where we could win, for sure.
Yeah.
So
At least 3 of those 4.
right. Okay.
At least. I'd like 4 of those 4, and that would put us at 5-2. And now we're in the conversation.
5-2 is doable. I like that. All right, let's go with that. All right, Mitch, thank you so much, man. Chargers got to go down. And
Got to go down.
Go to SoFi and check out our Raiders. And once again, perfectrotation.com. You got it right there. The professor of rotating that basketball to get your kid to make some shots. That's awesome. Perfect rotation. Love it. Mitch, thanks again as always. Love having you on, brother. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders!
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.